how's everybody doing? Today's video is going to be a discussion on why I will never own another Floyd Rose. So years ago, back when I was listening to a lot of, honestly, Rabia Masad music and trying to learn some of his innovative patterns and techniques and such, I noticed that he uses a lot of Floyd Rose tricks. And that's what really kind of got me started on buying a few guitars. And if you go back into my older videos, you'll see that I got a little bit into Floyd Roses for a period of time, and then I have now gotten out of them. And in this video, I'm going to explain why I've gotten out of them. So here are 5 reasons why I have gotten out of Floyd Roses and why I will probably never buy another Floyd Rose again. So the 5th reason why, I guess number 5 in importance, or the first reason that I'm explaining, is that they are a pain in the ass to tune your guitar. And people are going to argue this right away. They're going to say just use the fine tuners or whatever, but they're just clunky. And basically with a Floyd Rose, you're anchoring down the strings at the nut as well as the bridge, although the bridge does have fine tuners and you can use those a couple of times. And to be honest, this is reason number 5 because it didn't affect it very much for me due to reason number 1, which we'll get to. But if you're somebody who can keep strings on a guitar for a long period of time, I'm putting this reason in as reason number 5 because it may affect you more if you find yourself tuning your Floyd over and over and over, and then you bottom out your quick tuners, which is the little screw things at the bridge that will allow you to fine tune it. You may notice that this is kind of an annoyance. And if you want to properly tune it, you need to bring your fine tuners back to an average point, usually closer to the far end of loose, because most likely you're going to be bending your strings and stretching them, but not quite all the way there, but a little bit before the far end of loose. Even them out, and then you have to loosen the anchors at the nut to actually use the tuning heads. To me, that's a pain in the ass. The fine tuners worked in my situation because I didn't have to retune that much in the life of the strings. But if you're an average person, then you're probably going to find that the fine tuners don't totally satisfy the tuning needs, and you're going to have to crack open those anchors at the nut several times during the life of your strings. Reason number 4 is that not enough of the music that I like has Floyd Rose or whammy bar tricks and stuff in it. So that's obviously a personal thing. In fact, most of these points are a personal thing, and it's not like a knock on Floyd Rose, because obviously they're very popular and people love them. There's some people where that's just an outright requirement to their playing style. So I get it. This is just a personalized list. You know, if you're out there and you're a similar player to my playing style, then you'll understand this. And if you're out there and you're the way more in like, I need to have a Floyd Rose, that's like a requirement, then you're going to hate this. But either way, reason number 4 is that not enough of the music that I like to listen to on guitar really uses a Floyd Rose. I think, like I mentioned earlier, Rabia Masad was probably the only player that I thought, you know, I'd like to learn this solo because it's really, really innovative and it used some Floyd Rose tricks. And so I needed to get a little bit familiarized with using a Floyd Rose, how to do dime squeals and dives and just whatever you can do with a Floyd that you can't do without. So, you know, and like I said, if the music that you like is very Floyd Rose heavy, then obviously that would be the opposite point for you. It would be like, okay, obviously this is why I need to have a Floyd. But for me, I don't really listen to enough music where a Floyd is a major point in the song. Every once in a while I do, but whenever I do, I don't really tend to emulate playing unless it's something really fresh, like I said, like Rabia's music or something like that, at which point there's certain things that I could not emulate now with a Floyd Rose. But if I did need to emulate it, I would have to use some kind of workaround like a whammy pedal or something like that, because I don't currently own any more Floyds and I don't plan to buy one. Reason number 3, similar to number 4, which is that I'm pretty much set in stone at this point as a Gibson player. I don't have any affiliation to the company except that I just find their guitars work the best for me. They feel the best quality, they feel the most resonant, and I'm extremely familiar with Les Pauls, with the finishes, the scale length, the control layout, and the exact shape and weight and things that tend to be Gibson Les Pauls is what I'm into. Similar to point number 4, because obviously if I listen to more, shreddy Floyd stuff, then obviously I would be playing those guitars. To be fair, Gibson does make a few guitars with Floyd Roses, but as far as I know, they're out of the custom shop. And if I were going to buy a Les Paul custom, I would not want it to be non-traditional, if that makes sense, unless it was a complete, like, made-to-measure special order, in which case I could see requesting a Floyd or something like that. But the Gibson Les Paul custom models that have a Floyd, to me, you're kind of missing the point of a Les Paul, and that's my go-to guitar brand. So it wouldn't cross my mind to ask for a Floyd on a Gibson, even though they do have a couple, but it's just not my cup of tea. Because of point number 4, which was that I don't listen to a lot of Floyd music. Also tying back to point number 4 about the Floyd music is point number 2, which is that I don't feel a very strong desire to go while I'm playing guitar. And that is literally just because most of what I listen to doesn't use whammy tricks and dive bombs and dime squeals and stuff like that. Although, like I said at the very beginning, it's worth it. I think, if you're a player and you want to be a seasoned player and kind of know how to handle different types of guitars, I do think it's worth owning a guitar with a Floyd Rose so you can learn those things at some point. And then in my case, I'm probably the least likely person to want to keep doing that. So, I've gotten rid of them. But I do think there's some merit to learning how to do that. But in my typical playing, my desire for making those noises is nowhere near going to justify the other downsides to a Floyd in my personal playing style. Which brings me to point number 1, which is that, and I've mentioned this before, so this is going to be, if you're a follower of my channel for a long time, you already know what this is, but it's the fact that I have to change my strings all the time. So something about my hands, the oil of my skin or my sweat or something when I'm playing just turns my strings black within 2 hours of playing, and then they just start rusting, completely just bright orange rust. And this is within playing at home, climate controlled. The humidity is fine, the temperature is fine. So there's just something about my own body chemistry that makes me have to change my strings all the time. That doesn't matter if I'm playing on a guitar with a Floyd or without one, but for how much extra work it is to restring a Floyd Rose, which if you want to know about, check out my video, How to Restring a Floyd Rose. But it is significantly more involved to restring a Floyd Rose than to just restring a stop bar tailpiece on a Gibson Les Paul. And for the fact that I have to restring after every 2 hours of playing, give or take, it's just not worth it to me because of my own corrosive hands, basically. If I didn't have that issue, I would most likely still have a Floyd if I could keep one sitting for like a month or 2 at a time and just pick it up if I wanted to do Floyd tricks. Yeah, for sure. But the problem is if I play one for any period of time, it starts that process of corroding the strings, and it just doesn't really make sense for how much extra work it takes to restring a Floyd. That's not really a knock on their design or anything. That's just a personal issue, which all of my points in this video are meant to be from my own personal perspective and not a knock on the design of Floyd Rose, because I do think it's probably the most perfect design that we've seen so far for a full floating, dive and pull, really, really big range of motion type bridge trem system. I think it's a great system. But those are the 5 reasons why I don't personally see myself ever buying another guitar with a Floyd Rose again. And I hope that some of you guys found this information useful, whether you are a Floyd person, whether you're not a Floyd person. Leave a comment on whatever your perspective is. I'd like to hear it. And if you like this video, don't forget to share it and subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you guys next time.